Enola Holmes 2 is now exclusive on Netflix. You can stream it anytime you want to. This was once again directed by Bradbeer, and it's the follow-up to a very fun movie he made for us 2 years ago. And it once again stars Millie Bobby Brown as our title character, along with Henry Cavill as older brother Sherlock. Here, Enola takes on her first case as a full-time detective, but she still feels like she's in her brother's shadow. And she's tasked here to unravel the mystery of a missing girl, but the independent, spunky girl she is no more. And now she'll need some help from friends, including her older brother himself. So I really enjoyed the first Enola Holmes film. I thought it was super entertaining, very, very well made. It's very quirky, and a lot of those production values remain the same. The production design, the editing is all pristine. Daniel Pemberton's score also matches the eccentric nature of this story that's going on. I had a lot of story issues with the first Enola Holmes movie, however. I thought it had a little bit too many subplots, and you know, I feel like this movie may have taken some of those criticisms to heart, because this, honestly, is how you do a sequel right. I can sit here and comfortably tell you that Enola Holmes 2 is very much the superior movie between the two, because it really doesn't have to worry about setting up these characters anymore. This is clearly a huge advantage, but it uses it. And I'm also super appreciative that this movie actually was willing to go darker. Since Enola Holmes is a full-time detective at this time, she can delve into the more complicated stuff. And that's exactly what this movie does in general. It really, really honestly tugs at your heartstrings, a lot of the stuff that's going on here. And this movie's also not afraid to get under your skin. There's a murder scene that's involved in here. Enola herself is falsely accused of this murder and she's sent off to the gallows. That's some pretty dark shit, guys. But I feel like all the elements of this mystery, and especially as you learn more and more about what's going on, I just feel like it all melts together much better than it did in the first film, which had a very compelling mystery itself, but now she has all this added pressure of her brother looming over her, and the fact that people want to hire her brother more so because he's a man. And being a woman in this field, unfortunately, was not really as socially accepted as it would be nowadays. And I think this movie has a really nice finesse on dealing with those social issues, and it really puts together a really incredible message for all of us. Not just about these social issues, but about ourselves. A lot of us tend to be independent, but this movie tells you that it's okay to have friends. And that was a big facet of Millie Bobby Brown in her performance in the first movie. She was so independent. She didn't really need help from anybody else. She resented the fact that Sherlock was always there. And now here she is turning to him not just as a superior detective. Obviously, there's some quibbling going on here and there's some friendly competition. But no, she's turning to him as an older brother. Both of these leading performances are so good. Millie Bobby Brown is so real here. And a lot of those similar quirks that she brings to the first movie are back. She will break the fourth wall and really include you on what's going on. God, Henry Cavill, though, he is just, this is perfect casting for the 2020s, if I say so myself. He is just so calm, cool, and collected. And he always carries himself like he's the smartest person walking the face of the planet. But again, never really comes off unlikable in any case in this movie. And that's a tricky line to tread, and I think Henry Cavill masters that. Helena Bonham Carter gets some more fun lines thrown into the mix. She is prevalent in a lot of flashback sequences, and she does really well. David Thewlis is a new addition to this cast, and he basically is our antagonist. He is just eating up every bit of this scenery. He just looks like he is having the time of his life playing this part. And it never really feels like it's too over the top. Again, that's a fine line he could have tread, but David Thewlis somehow makes it so, like, grounded. He did the same thing in the first Wonder Woman movie when he was the villain there, and I think he plays a really good villain. I don't really think he gets enough credit, enough due credit, that is. He's a really great performer. And yeah, I'll hold my hand up and be willing to admit when I'm wrong, but one of the things that I didn't really like about the first Enola Holmes movie was the romance. In my own words, I did not really understand why Enola Holmes needed a romance. Like, why does she need this Tewksbury chap? Like, she's going on and on about how she doesn't really need a man or anything like that in the first movie, and yet here's Tewksbury. But again, that's what this movie is all about. It's okay to have allies. And I'll be glad to admit that I'm wrong here, because this romance was so endearing in this sequel. It is so much better handled. The chemistry was there. I thought Louis Partridge's performance was stellar. And these two know how to banter. They know how to flirt banter, but they also know how to be sweet with one another, and there's some really great teaching moments between the two. Like, you'll know it when you see it. It pretty much runs in parallel, the teaching moments. Enola Holmes 2 is a sequel done right. It's a movie that expands on the world, it expands on the characters, it's willing to go darker. This is textbook everything I would want in a sequel. Now, that's not to say that this is a flawless movie, after all. I do feel like that the screenplay suffered from some similar elements that the first movie did, but not to such an extreme, if that makes sense. My big issue with Enola Holmes 2 is the big piles of exposition that are scattered throughout this screenplay, which, trust me, every screenplay needs that. And it's gotta feel natural within the flow of the narrative, you know? But there's points in this screenplay where literally Enola Holmes will look right into the lens as I'm looking at you right now. And after everything has been explained to you, she'll have a line that says, this person is X, Y, and Z. Oh my gosh, this person is actually that person. Can you believe that? And I'm sitting there like, yeah, I get it, all right. That evidence was edited in pretty nicely. You don't really need to reiterate the point. And this is honestly, guys, this is a trope that I hate in sequels nowadays. But I really don't like when the first 10 minutes of the movie nowadays are focused on basically recapping what happened in the first one. Now, I understand. Not everybody will have the time to go and rewatch the first movie before they pop this one on. But gosh, it's like, do you really need to spend all that time recapping what happened in the first one when you could just go watch the first one and then just turn this on and just have a big binge session back to back? I don't know, guys. These may be just my nitpicks. I really enjoyed Enola Holmes 2, and I highly, highly encourage you guys to check it out this weekend on Netflix if you have the time. I feel like, again, similar to the first Enola Holmes movie, this is really going to fall under the rug for a lot of people, and it's going to be a hidden gem. I'm going to give Enola Holmes 2 an A. And I know this sounds like a crazy statement. I wouldn't mind seeing an Enola Holmes 3. There were little hints in the end there. There were little hints about certain characters that may pop up in the future if enough people like this one. And honestly, after as many people loved the first one, including myself, I liked the second one even more. So it only feels natural to make a third one, right? Let me know if you guys want to see an Enola Holmes 3 down in the comment section below. What did you think of this second movie? Did you think it was superior to the first one in any way? Obviously, guys, I love creating these videos. I love discussing all new things in movies and entertainment with you guys on the regular. So if you guys are a new viewer, do consider becoming a subscriber. Hit that notification bell right next door. That way, trust me, you don't want to miss a second more of the action from this point on. Hit that thumbs up button as well. That is a huge favor to help this channel grow and to continue helping this community grow. And stay tuned for more exciting content hitting my channel very, very soon. I will be watching the Banshees of Inisherin this weekend, which I have been hunting around for in this area, and finally it's getting wide releases. Of course, Black Panther Wakanda Forever comes out next week, and I don't know if I'm emotionally ready for it. I don't know if anybody here is, honestly. But guys, y'all are the best. Thank you all so, so very much again for talking all things movies with me. And with all that being said, Back Talk, commence!